The repair station was quiet that night. It always was at this hour. Only the hum of old machines and the faint blink of lights broke the silence. Marcus Hale sat in his workshop with a spanner in one hand and a cup of bitter coffee in the other. He had fixed half a dozen ships this week, none of them special. Traders came and went, mercenaries stopped by, and sometimes smugglers slipped through. They all left him credits and broken parts, but nothing exciting ever happened here. Marcus liked the quiet life, or at least he told himself that. Still, a part of him longed for something different, something that would make his heart race again. As midnight crept over the station, an alarm light blinked on the console. A ship was approaching, slow and unsteady. Marcus frowned. Few pilots. Came this late, and those who did were usually desperate. He stood, wiped his hands on a rag, and checked the scanner. The ship was unlike anything he had seen before. Sleek, curved, and faintly glowing, it looked far too advanced for the usual traffic around this forgotten edge of human space. The vessel docked roughly as if its pilot struggled to keep it steady. Sparks flew as the clamps locked into place. Marcus grabbed his toolkit and walked to the airlock. The door hissed open, and a cloaked figure stepped out. She was tall, her hood hiding most of her face. Her movements were graceful, but cautious. "My ship, it needs repairs," she said, her voice soft but firm. Marcus tilted his head. "You came to the right place, but I'll be honest. That's no ship I've ever seen. What's your name?" "Lyra," she answered quickly, too quickly, as if she had chosen the name on the spot. Marcus studied her for a moment. Something about her didn't add up, but he shrugged. "All right, Lyra, let's take a look." They walked into the hangar. The ship looked even stranger up close. Its surface shimmered with patterns that seemed alive, like liquid metal. Marcus ran his hand near the hull but stopped before touching. "This technology must its way beyond human design," he muttered. Lyra crossed her arms, watching him carefully. "Can you fix it?" Marcus smirked. "I can fix anything. Just give me time." He started working, opening panels, examining strange circuits and checking the damaged thrusters. While he worked, Lyra moved around the workshop, her eyes studying the old tools, the cluttered shelves, and the small human touches, an old photo pinned to the wall, a cracked mug, a battered guitar leaning in the corner. "You live here alone?" she asked. "Yeah. People pass through, but nobody stays." "Too quiet for most," Marcus said as he tightened a bolt. "What about you? Traveling alone in a ship like this? Seems dangerous." Lyra hesitated. "I prefer solitude." Marcus looked at her but said nothing. He could see she was hiding something, but he didn't press her. Hours passed as he repaired the systems. The ship was strange, but Marcus was clever. He used makeshift tools and clever tricks, adapting human methods to alien design. Lyra watched in silence, surprised at how quickly he solved problems. Finally, Marcus leaned back, wiping sweat from his brow. "Your thrusters should work now, but the core, that's different. It's like nothing I've ever touched before. Might take longer." Lyra lowered her hood slightly, revealing part of her face. Her eyes were bright, almost glowing, unlike any human eyes. Marcus noticed but said nothing. He only smiled faintly. "Whoever built this ship, they sure don't shop at human markets." She almost smiled back. "You are not afraid?" "Afraid of what?" Marcus asked. "Of me. Of this ship." "Most would be." Marcus shrugged. "Fear doesn't fix engines. Curiosity does. And I'm curious." For the first time, Lyra laughed softly. It was a sound Marcus didn't expect, light and musical. Before he could respond, the station sensors beeped again. Another ship was approaching, small, fast, and armed. Marcus frowned. "Strange. I wasn't expecting more visitors tonight." Lyra's face turned cold. She pulled her hood tighter. "They are not friends." Marcus looked at her carefully. "Who are you really?" "I told you." "Lyra." "Yeah, but Lyra doesn't fly a ship like that. And Lyra doesn't have enemies chasing her across the stars," Marcus said. Lyra said nothing. but her silence told him enough. The small armed ship docked. Heavy boots echoed in the corridor as rough voices shouted. Marcus grabbed a tool from his bench, a wrench heavy enough to swing. Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "They are here for me. If you let them take me, they will leave you alive." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Not my style. I fix things, remember? And right now it looks like you need fixing more than that ship." The airlock burst open. 3 figures in dark armor stormed in, weapons raised. Their leader pointed at Lyra. "Empress, you cannot hide. Come with us." Marcus froze. "Empress?" He glanced at Lyra, shocked. She stood tall now, no longer hiding, her presence commanding even in the small workshop. She said nothing, but Marcus understood. This woman was not just a traveler. She was someone powerful, someone the galaxy feared. The armed men moved forward. Marcus tightened his grip on the wrench. "Well," he muttered, "midnight just got interesting." The 3 armored figures froze in the hangar. Marcus raised his wrench, not a soldier, but ready to fight. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly under her hood, a silent warning that she could handle herself. But she needed Marcus. "Step back," she said softly, yet her voice carried authority that made even the attackers hesitate. Marcus smirked. "Step back? I think not. They came for you. They'll have to go through me first." The leader growled. "You cannot stop us. The Empress belongs to the Dominion. Surrender her." Marcus's jaw tightened. He had heard of the Dominion before, an empire that ruled the stars with strict laws and harsh punishments, but he had never faced their enforcers directly. Yet he wasn't afraid. Humans survived because they faced impossible odds and won through clever thinking. Lyra stepped forward. "I am not surrendering." The 3 figures moved in unison. Marcus swung his wrench at the nearest one, connecting with a clang against the armored chest. Sparks flew and the attacker stumbled back, stunned. He regained his footing, but Marcus had already grabbed a nearby tool, swinging it with more force. Lyra moved like liquid, faster than any human could. She disarmed one attacker in seconds, twisting his weapon out of his hands and sending him sprawling. Marcus watched, impressed. This was no ordinary traveler. Despite the chaos, Marcus noticed a strange device on the leader's belt. A small glowing cube, clearly a tracker of some kind. If he could disable it, they might escape detection. He ducked low, rolling behind a support beam, and jabbed the cube with his wrench. Sparks shot out, and the device died. The attackers froze. "Impossible!" the leader shouted. Lyra glanced at Marcus with a mixture of surprise and admiration. Humans are clever," she whispered. Marcus shrugged. "We survive by thinking differently." After a tense moment, the attackers realized they were outmatched in this small workshop. They retreated to their ship, but their glare promised they would return. Lyra's eyes followed them until they disappeared into space. Marcus exhaled deeply. That was exciting and dangerous. "Thanks for letting me help." Lyra lowered her hood slightly, letting more of her face show. "You should not have interfered. You could have been killed." "I can take care of myself," Marcus said, brushing dust off his coat. "Besides, I wasn't about to let anyone harm a guest, especially one who trusts me." Lyra studied him carefully. Marcus's courage and calm impressed her. In the Dominion, she was surrounded by people who feared her authority or betrayed her. But Marcus, he saw her as a person, not a ruler. As the night settled again, Lyra led Marcus to the ship. "There are secrets you are not ready for," she said. "This vessel is more than it seems." Marcus's eyes widened. "More than it seems? I thought I was dealing with a damaged ship, not a mystery box." Lyra stepped inside. "This ship was built for war. Its core can destroy planets if misused. I cannot let it fall into the wrong hands. That is why I am running." Marcus swallowed hard. "Destroy planets? That's big. So you're saying you're being hunted?" Lyra nodded. "The council of my empire betrayed me. They want to rule without me, and anyone loyal to me is considered a traitor. I cannot go back. Marcus felt a chill. He had fixed broken engines and helped smugglers escape trouble, but this was something else entirely. Helping her meant getting involved in a war he could never imagine. Still, he didn't hesitate. Then we hide. We fix your ship and we plan. But one thing is clear, you're not alone. I'm helping you. Lyra's eyes softened. You do not understand what you are offering. Helping me could put your entire life at risk. Marcus smirked. Life is already risky. I've survived frontier storms, pirates, and rogue traders. I can survive this too. Besides, he tapped the side of the ship. I don't know. Something tells me humans belong in big stories sometimes. Lyra tilted her head. You are different. Most humans are small-minded, afraid, but you see possibilities. I appreciate that. Marcus laughed quietly. Appreciation works both ways. You saved my curiosity tonight. That counts for something. They spent the next hours working quietly. Marcus repaired damaged panels and reinforced the ship's hull with human ingenuity. Lyra explained the ship's systems, careful to hide her more dangerous capabilities. While Marcus worked, he noticed strange symbols along the ship's console, symbols that pulsed faintly. What are these? He asked. They are security protocols, Lyra said. Only those loyal to me can unlock them fully. Marcus frowned. And if someone else try? The repaired ship glimmered faintly under the station lights. Its engines hummed softly, ready for the long journey ahead. Marcus watched the controls, feeling a mix of awe and nerves. Lyra stood beside him, her hood pulled back, revealing more of her striking features. She looked calm, but Marcus knew she carried a heavy burden. Are you sure we can escape them? Marcus asked, eyes fixed on the scanner. Lyra nodded. If we use speed and stealth, yes. But the Dominion will not give up easily. They have fleets, far stronger than anything you have seen. Marcus swallowed. He had faced danger before. But this was something else entirely. Yet, he did not feel fear. Humans survived impossible odds by thinking differently. He would need every skill he had, and more, to keep both of them alive. The hangar doors opened, revealing the starry void beyond. Marcus felt the familiar pull of space, and a thrill ran through him. He had traveled before, yes, but never like this, never with the weight of a galactic empire on his shoulders. Lyra guided the ship through the station's narrow exit, her hands steady on the controls. Marcus studied the panels in front of him. They were alien, complex, but he quickly adapted, remembering the tricks he had learned while repairing her ship. Every lever and button seemed to respond to him as if he were born to operate them. You are learning fast, Lyra said, a hint of surprise in her voice. Marcus grinned. I told you humans are clever. Give us a puzzle and we solve it, sometimes by luck, but mostly by stubbornness. Lyra allowed herself a faint smile. Then, stubbornness may save us tonight. No sooner had they left the station than alerts sounded. Red lights flashed across the console. Scanners picked up multiple vessels approaching fast. The Dominion fleet had found them. Marcus's heart raced, but he focused. Buckle up. We're going to need every trick we know. Lyra's ship darted through asteroid fields, weaving and twisting like a bird among rocks. Marcus's hands flew over the controls, adjusting shields and rerouting power. The Dominion ships followed, faster and more powerful, but Marcus and Lyra used the terrain to their advantage. Marcus, Lyra said, her voice calm. See that cluster of debris ahead? We can use it to hide. It will slow their sensors. Marcus nodded, guiding the ship through jagged rocks and floating ice. The Dominion vessels scanned desperately, trying to lock on, but Marcus and Lyra moved like shadows, slipping through gaps and twisting around massive asteroids. You're a natural. At this, Lyra admitted. Most humans would panic. Marcus laughed, though it was tense. Humans panic sometimes, but not tonight. Not when the galaxy is watching or maybe waiting for us. After hours of careful maneuvering, they found a hidden gap in the asteroid field. Lyra's ship slowed, slipping silently into the shadow of a massive rock formation. The Dominion fleet passed by, unable to detect them. Marcus exhaled, finally letting his shoulders relax. That was intense and exciting. Lyra's expression softened. You are brave, Marcus. Few could have survived that chase. But bravery alone will not keep us alive. We must plan our next move. They drifted in the shadow of the asteroids, far from sensors. The stars stretched endlessly around them, cold and distant. Marcus felt a strange sense of peace, even in danger. Tell me more about your empire, Marcus said. I want to understand why they want you so badly. Lyra hesitated. The Dominion is vast, controlling thousands of worlds. Their council betrayed me because they feared change. They wanted power for themselves, not the people. I escaped to prevent them from using my ship and my authority to harm the galaxy. Marcus nodded slowly. Sounds like you were trapped in a cage of your own crown. Must be lonely at the top. Lyra looked at him, her eyes thoughtful. Lonely and burdened. But humans, you live freely, even in hardship. You survive because you help each other, not because you dominate. It is inspiring. Marcus smiled faintly. We're stubborn like that. Even when things are impossible, we keep going. Maybe that's why we survive. Hours passed as they traveled, and Marcus became more skilled with the alien controls. He learned the ship's subtle rhythms, the way it responded to touch and thought. Lyra observed quietly, impressed by his adaptability. Eventually, they reached a human colony on a distant moon. Its lights were dim, the settlement small but thriving. Lyra guided the ship into a hidden bay. Marcus shut the engines down and exhaled. We made it. For now. Lyra stepped out of the cockpit, stretching. For now, she echoed. We must rest and plan. Tomorrow the Dominion will search harder. But tonight we are safe. Marcus followed her out, looking up at the stars. You know, Lyra, I've fixed a lot of things in my life, but helping you, this might be the most important repair job I've ever done. She looked at him, a faint smile on her lips. And you may not even realize it. You have taught me that trust is possible, even in a galaxy filled with betrayal. Marcus shrugged. Humans trust each other because we must. Otherwise, we don't survive. Lyra nodded, thoughtful. Perhaps that is why the galaxy needs humans. Your spirit, your resilience. It is rare. You give hope, even when hope seems impossible. They spent the night in the quiet settlement, planning the next move. Marcus studied maps and old navigation charts while Lyra explained her knowledge of the Dominion fleet. They shared stories, and for a few hours the weight of the galaxy felt lighter. As midnight approached again, they stood outside, looking at the endless expanse of stars. Lyra's eyes reflected the light, soft but determined. Tomorrow we move, she said. We cannot hide forever. The council will not rest, and neither can we. Marcus nodded, gripping the edge of the platform. Then let's make sure, when we strike, we do it smart and fast. Humans have a way of surprising people, remember? Lyra allowed herself another faint smile. Yes, I remember. And with you, perhaps we have a chance to change more than just our fate. Perhaps we can change the galaxy. Marcus laughed quietly, looking at the stars. That's a big goal, but I like it. Humans like big goals. For a moment they stood in silence, two unlikely allies under the midnight sky. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable, but together they were ready. The flight across the stars was only the beginning. The galaxy would never be the same again. Marcus and Lyra hid in the shadow of a small human colony on the edge of a distant star system. The settlement was quiet, simple, and easy to overlook, perfect for staying invisible. Marcus loved the way humans adapted to harsh environments. Small buildings, sturdy walls, and clever traps made life possible on this remote moon. Lyra's ship rested in a hidden bay, its engines cooled and systems idle. She studied the colony from the hatch, her eyes sharp and calculating. Marcus watched her, curious. "You've been through a lot," he said softly. "Does it ever get easier?" Lyra shook her head. "No, not really. The council betrayed me. They sent assassins and spies to hunt me down. Every place I hide, they find a way to search." Marcus frowned. "So they're still after you? They won't stop, right?" "No. And now they know humans can help. That makes you a target too," Lyra said, her voice serious. Marcus clenched his fists but didn't hesitate. "Then we fight smart. They underestimate humans. That's always our advantage." The next day, the colony stirred with activity. Humans went about their lives unaware that a galaxy-wide struggle was quietly unfolding above them. Marcus walked among them, noting how they worked together, shared resources, and watched out for one another. He realized why Lyra admired humans. Their strength came from cooperation, not fear. Lyra joined him outside the workshop. "They will find us if we are careless," she said. "We need to prepare. I can handle myself, but humans are different from Dominion soldiers. They think, improvise, and survive in ways we cannot predict." Marcus nodded. "Then let's teach them. If we need allies, the colony can help. Humans have never backed down when the odds are impossible." As they planned, scouts reported movement near the colony. Dominion agents were approaching, cloaked, in stealth vessels. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They have found us." Marcus grabbed his wrench and some other tools, improvising weapons. "Then let's give them a welcome they won't forget." The Dominion attackers descended on the colony, landing quietly but efficiently. Marcus and Lyra watched from a ridge above the settlement. The soldiers moved in formation, searching every building. Marcus whispered, "We can't let them take her. Not here. Not now." Lyra nodded. "I will distract them. You prepare the defenses. Humans are excellent at traps and clever maneuvers. Show them what you can do." Marcus sprinted into the colony, alerting the settlers and organizing defenses. He showed them how to set up barricades, use terrain to their advantage, and create simple but effective traps. Humans moved quickly, working together instinctively. Lyra's presence inspired them. If she could stand against the Dominion, they could too. Moments later, Lyra confronted the Dominion agents. She moved like a shadow, disabling weapons and using the ship's advanced technology to create confusion. The agents were skilled, but they had never faced someone who could predict their movements and counter them in unexpected ways. Marcus watched the chaos from the colony streets. Humans darted through alleys, ambushing soldiers and using their clever traps. Each victory was small, but together they formed a wave of resistance the Dominion hadn't expected. Lyra joined Marcus, her eyes scanning the battlefield. "You are remarkable," she said, watching him guide humans with precision. "You..." The hidden human colony was quiet, but Marcus could feel the tension in the air. Every glance toward the stars reminded him that the Dominion Council would not stop hunting Lyra. She had shared her plan with him late the previous night. Her voice, low but determined. "We cannot hide forever," Lyra said. "The Council has grown careless. They underestimate humans and me. We strike directly at the heart of their power." Marcus frowned. "You mean their capital?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, if we fail, it is the end. If we succeed, we can change. The Dominion forever." Marcus ran a hand through his hair, thinking fast. "That's bold, crazy even. But humans, we like crazy, especially when it gives us a chance to win." Lyra studied him, her eyes sharp. "You are not afraid?" "Afraid?" Marcus laughed softly. "Afraid is for people who don't know how to survive. I've faced pirates, storms, and worse. I've survived. And if this gamble gives the galaxy a chance, I'm in." The next morning, they gathered their allies. Rebels, smugglers, and even a few disillusioned Dominion captains joined them quietly in the hidden hangar. Marcus directed the humans, explaining the plan with calm confidence. He showed them how to exploit weak points in Dominion patrols, set traps for pursuing ships, and hack minor defense systems. Lyra's presence inspired everyone. Even the most skeptical humans saw that if she could face the Dominion Council, they could too. Marcus realized that humans were not just followers. They became leaders when given the chance. As the fleet prepared to depart, Marcus checked his own ship and gear. He glanced at Lyra, who was reviewing the star maps for their journey. "This is it," he said quietly. Lyra looked up. "We leave at midnight. We strike fast, strike smart, and we do not hesitate." Marcus nodded. "Humans are good at improvising. If things go wrong, we find another way. And if things go right," he smiled, "we might just change the galaxy." Night fell, and their small fleet slipped silently into space. Marcus sat beside Lyra in the cockpit, watching the stars blur. As they accelerated, the Dominion capital loomed ahead, a massive planet surrounded by fleets, defenses, and surveillance systems. Lyra's hands were steady on the controls, but Marcus sensed her mind working 100 steps ahead. "They will expect a normal attack," she said, "but humans are unpredictable." Marcus laughed softly. "That's our advantage. We don't fight like them. We fight smart, fast, and sometimes crazy. That keeps people guessing." As they neared the capital, scouts reported minor patrols. Marcus directed the humans to disable them silently, using speed and clever tactics. Each move was precise, every step carefully planned. Yet Marcus knew that luck and human ingenuity would both play a role. Lyra glanced at him. "Are you ready?" Marcus tightened his grip on the console. "As ready as I'll ever be. Let's gamble." The fleet entered the orbital zone, slipping past the outer defenses. Marcus coordinated the human pilots, guiding them through gaps in shield arrays and avoiding heavy fire. Lyra's ship led the way, its advanced systems masking their approach. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Dominion capital. Marcus felt the tension spike. "They see us," he said. "Get ready for anything." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "No hesitation. Focus. Move together." The humans responded instantly, their small ships darting between defense turrets, dodging lasers and disabling communication nodes. Marcus watched in awe as ordinary humans, who had once tended farms and repaired freighters, became warriors and tacticians in the blink of an eye. Lyra's ship moved through the chaos with elegance, its energy shields absorbing minor hits. She deployed decoys and hacking pulses, confusing the Dominion fleet and opening a path to the Council's citadel. Marcus guided the human ships through these gaps, improvising maneuvers when unexpected turrets fired. The fleet pressed forward, using human ingenuity and Lyra's technology as a single force. Marcus could feel the adrenaline in every move, the exhilaration of a gamble where failure meant death but success could change the galaxy. Finally, they reached the Citadel's outer defenses. Marcus whispered, "This is it." Lyra's voice was calm but determined. "We move together. Trust each other. The Council will not expect humans to lead the strike." Marcus grinned. "That's our specialty. We surprise people. Always." The fleet struck fast. Humans boarded ships, hacked systems, and disabled defenses with precision. Lyra moved toward the council chamber, her presence commanding even over her own people. Marcus stayed at her side, directing human pilots and finding weak points in the enemy's strategy. Minutes felt like hours. Every decision could mean success or failure. Marcus marveled at how humans adapted, improvising at every turn. They were not soldiers, but their courage and clever thinking made them powerful allies. Finally, the council chamber's defenses fell. Lyra confronted the traitorous leaders, exposing their betrayal to all who could hear. Marcus watched as the Empire's fate shifted with every word and action. When the last council member surrendered, Marcus exhaled. They had won, not just because of Lyra's skill, but because humans had refused to be overlooked. Their cleverness, bravery, and determination had turned the tide. Lyra turned to Marcus, her eyes reflecting gratitude and admiration. "You humans, you are extraordinary. You have changed more than battles today. You have changed the galaxy's future." Marcus smiled. "And you've changed mine. Together, we did what neither of us could do alone." The fleet regrouped above the citadel, victorious but cautious. Marcus looked at Lyra, seeing a ruler who had learned something rare from humans: trust, loyalty, and courage that could shape even an empire. Lyra's gaze swept across the horizon. "This is only the beginning. The galaxy is watching, Marcus. And now it will see that humans are not small. We are a force." Marcus laughed softly, glancing at the stars. "Force? I like that. Humans always find a way to make the impossible happen. And tonight, we made the impossible real." As the fleet hovered over the capital, Marcus knew the gamble had paid off. Humans had changed history, not through numbers or technology, but through courage, cunning, and a refusal to give up. The Dominion Council had learned a hard lesson. Underestimating humans was a mistake they would never repeat. And in the quiet moments after battle, Marcus and Lyra stood side by side looking at the stars. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable. But now, they had shown it that humans, even ordinary ones, could shape empires and change the course of history. The council chamber lay in silence. The traitorous leaders of the Dominion had surrendered, their power broken and their betrayal exposed. Marcus Hale stood beside Lyra, watching the aftermath unfold. The human fleet hovered above the capital, their ships small but precise, a testament to the ingenuity and courage that had carried them through the impossible mission. Lyra's eyes scanned the chamber, her expression a mixture of relief and determination. "It is done," she said softly. "The council cannot rule anymore. Their betrayal is revealed. But now, the real challenge begins. To rebuild, to lead differently, to shape the empire with justice, not fear." Marcus nodded. "You've been through a lot. But tonight, you've shown something that matters more than power. You've shown that change is possible, and that humans, ordinary humans, can help make it real." Lyra turned to him, her eyes reflecting admiration and something deeper, a bond forged in the fires of danger. "Marcus, without you and your people, none of this would have been possible. Humans have a spark, a spirit I have never seen in my empire." "You are remarkable," Marcus chuckled softly. "And you're remarkable too, not just as an empress, but as someone willing to fight for what is right, even when the odds are impossible." Outside, the human fleet maneuvered gracefully, a silent message to the galaxy. Humans had changed the course of an empire without conquering it, without violence beyond necessity. Their courage, cleverness, and unity had made the difference. Marcus realized then how truly powerful humans could be, not because of their weapons or ships, but because of their mind, spirit, and determination. Lyra activated a communication array, sending a broadcast to every world in the Dominion. Her voice, calm and commanding, resonated through countless systems. "People of the Dominion, the Council has failed you. Their betrayal will not define our future. I will rule not as a tyrant, but as a leader who listens, who protects, and who values freedom." And humans, these extraordinary allies, have shown that courage and cleverness can shape even empires. Across the galaxy, citizens paused to listen. Some feared her, others doubted, but many were inspired. The broadcast carried a message of hope, a promise of change, and proof that even the smallest acts of courage could ripple across stars. Marcus watched Lyra closely. "Do you trust humans now?" he asked lightly. Lyra's eyes softened. "I trust them more than anyone I've ever known. You showed me that leadership is not just about power. It is about courage, loyalty, and the willingness to act even when the outcome is uncertain. Humans embody that spirit." The final stage of the mission was not over. The Dominion's defenses were weakened, but not destroyed. Marcus knew there would be challenges ahead, but the galaxy had already begun to shift. Systems that once lived in fear now whispered of hope, Soldiers who once followed blindly now questioned authority. The courage of humans, and one fugitive, Empress had created a turning point. Lyra and Marcus moved to the observation deck of the Citadel. Stars stretched endlessly around them, bright against the darkness of space.